In this video, I'm going to try my hand at making a strawberry passion fruit wine. Now, in order to do it, I'm going to need some strawberries and I'm going to need one of these. Hi, I'm Charles and welcome to DIY Fermentation, your site for doing fermentation on a shoestring budget. Okay, to make this wine, I will be using the following. 3 pounds of strawberries, fresh or frozen, matters not. A good 1.5 to 2 pounds of papaya. I'm going to be using up to 4 cups of sugar. We'll make the final determination once we've got everything in solution and we can find out what the initial gravity reading is going to be. I'm using Red Star Premier Rouge as my wine yeast, or what's left of my Red Star Premier Rouge, because this is about it for this batch. You can use whatever wine yeast of choice or yeast of choice. Juice of 1/2 of a lemon. Now, because I'm working with strawberries, which are high in pectin, I'm going to be using a pectin enzyme. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. It simply eliminates that pectin haze a lot sooner rather than later. Going to need about 1 gallon of water to bring our level up to about 1 gallon. We need something to do primary fermentation in. Preferably something with a wide mouth opening so you can get your fruit into the fermenter and out of it after the process is done with. You're going to need something to do secondary fermentation in. Jug, demijohn, carboy, take your pick. Airlock and stopper for that. Oh, by the way, this fermenter has a built-in airlock, so if you don't see one there, that's because of that reason alone. It has its own. Straining bags. Additionally, hydrometer, so we can determine the initial gravity reading, which will help us determine how much alcohol we've been able to produce at the end of the process. Straining bags. And I'm using Star San as my sanitizer. Because you never know what's been sprayed on them or what's done what on them. So just go ahead and give your berries a good rinse. The next thing I want to do is I want to remove the foliage from the top of my strawberries so that I can go ahead and use these. You can either pull them off, or I like to remove the white part. And while you're at it, you can just go ahead and give them a rough chop. I usually go with quarters, and if it's a big strawberry, I might slice them again. But that is going to be the process for the rest of these strawberries. There we go. Let's come back when all this is done. All right. That's it for the strawberries. All right, never having worked with a papaya before, I'm not quite sure how to address this situation. So I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make an incision down the middle so that I can find out what I've got to deal with. Hopefully I can do this without slicing off any digits. Okay, it's fairly soft. It didn't go exactly down the middle, but hey. All right. So that's what I've got to work with. Got a bunch of seeds running down the middle, which I don't need. And I've got fleshy pulp, which I do need. So I guess the plan is, 1, scoop out the seeds, then scoop out the pulp, then dice and slice the pulp, and get everything into a straining bag. So what I'm going to need is another bowl. All right, bowl for the seeds. And hopefully this will be easy. It is. It's like the consistency of a soft melon. I mean, there's probably be an easier way of doing it, but trying to keep as much of the pulp intact. In fact, is there an easy way of doing it? Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, it has the consistency of a ripe melon. All right. Get rid of that other part later. Now the other one. All right. With that having been done, how easy would it be just to scoop it out and put it in a bowl? Let's see. Is it that soft? It actually is. We can just scoop it out with a spoon. Well, the skin is actually on the thin side, so you might need to be careful, or your spoon can definitely slice right through that skin, outer skin, which is kind of like what I did here. And I wasn't really pressing all that hard. All right. I guess that's good enough. I think what I'll probably end up doing is giving them a, oh good, I can do it in a bowl. Just giving them kind of a rough chop. I mean, I don't have to do it individually. Just give them a rough chop. And once they're in the bags, probably just give them a quick mash. All right, now that our water has come to a boil, we're going to go ahead and turn the heat off. And we are going to drop in our strawberries. I don't really want to cook the strawberries. I just want to provide enough heat to kill off any stray yeast or wild bacteria, or vice versa, so they don't interfere with the fermentation process. All I need to do now is let it come down to room temperature, and then we'll move on and add the papaya, sitting now in the refrigerator, waiting for this process to come to an end. Now that the temperature has come down quite a bit, I mean, it's still warm. I think now would be a good time to add some of that sugar. I'm going to add 3 cups of that sugar and go ahead and get that incorporated. And while we're at it, we might just as well add in our papayas, which just came out of the refrigerator, so they're a little on the cold side, which is good because it'll help bring the temperature down that much quicker. In fact, that would be more like lukewarm already. I think what I'm going to do is that I am going to go ahead and add our peptic enzyme. Instructions on my bag suggest 3/4 teaspoon. And I'm going to go ahead and just incorporate that a little bit. All right, the first hydrometer reading with 3 cups of sugar is coming in. It looks like 1.062. I think we're going to add that 4th cup of sugar. Okay, after adding that 4th cup of sugar, it looks like we're coming in right on the money, 1.080. All right, I've let the peptic enzyme do its thing overnight. It's now time to go ahead and get everything assembled in the primary fermenter. First thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and squeeze the juice of this half a lemon, which is going to act as our substitute for citrus blend. And I'm going to go ahead and add that to the mix. Little goes a long way. Following that, I'm going to go ahead and transfer our strawberry papaya mixture. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze this fruit one more time before I do that, just to help it release some of the juices. And then I'm going to try not to make a mess transferring the fruit into the fermenter. That was the easy part. Hard part is doing this, not spilling it all over the place. Like that. Which is also the reason why I now do this in the kitchen sink instead of the dining room table. Because that is easy to clean up. All right, and with that having been done, the only thing I need to do now to convert our fruit juice into wine is to add the yeast. Now for 1 gallon, we only need 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. And we're just going to go ahead and sprinkle that around. And because we've got those straining bags in there, I don't really think the yeast is doing me a whole lot of good sitting on top of these bags. So I'm just going to kind of just get them in there a little bit. All right, if you had wanted to bloom your yeast before putting them in there, that's fine. If you wanted some other methods of incorporating your yeast, that's fine. But this process seems to work for me, all of the wines that I've done so far. So this is what I do for the most part. Needs are a little bit different, but this is basically what I do. All you need to do before I put the cap on, a couple of things. One, every day for the next 3 days, go ahead and give your musk a vigorous stir, squeezing out the fruit from time to time, or juice from the fruit from time to time. And that's more so since the fruit is in bags and not floating across the top. It's more so to help incorporate a little bit more oxygen in your musk to help the yeast out. But after that first 3, no more than 5 days, you can just stop stirring. And really after 5 to 7 days, you can go ahead and remove your fruit and transfer this into secondary for the long haul. Put our cap back on. And the only thing I need to do now is to go ahead and label our creation. Now that we've got our wine properly labeled so that we know that what it is we're making, strawberry papaya, the date that we made it, and the original gravity reading that we started with. Now, of course, there are several more steps and several more months involved in getting your musk into a bottle, but those steps are actually outlined in my channel page under playlist. You'll find those under the winemaking process, and those will help you go through the steps involved with getting your wine from here and into a wine bottle. So again, thank you for checking me out. Please make sure you subscribe to my page, and I see you in the next video.